That was quite something, wasn't it, guys? Where we, the Green Bay Packers, supposed to be a relatively competitive team, right? You know, came off a bye week, got everyone back healthy. Everything should have been good. And then we lost to the Denver Broncos. One of the worst teams in the NFL, who had the worst defense in the league, lost by 50 points, gave up 70 points earlier in the season, and we couldn't do anything against them. And so, what does that make you when you lose to a bad team? That makes you a worse team. Welcome back to the channel, guys, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Packers' loss yesterday to the Denver Broncos, break down the stats, see if there's anything good that we can take away from this game, and just see kind of what the issues are and if we have any hope of fixing them before we get to the real rough portions of our schedule. So let's go ahead and go first by looking at the scoring breakdown. Started off with 3 straight field goals by Will Lutz in the first quarter by Denver. A 32-yarder, a 29-yarder, and a 35-yarder for a 9-0 Denver lead. The Packers got on the board on the first drive in the second half with an Anders Carlson 29-yard field goal to break it 9-3. The Broncos then got a touchdown by Cortland Sutton 18-yard completion from Russell Wilson for a 16-3 lead. The Packers were able to take the lead off of 2 touchdowns in the third and fourth quarter. One on a Romeo Doubs 16-yard touchdown pass that was almost intercepted by Pat Surtain. Like, they were just fighting for the ball, heading down to the ground. So a good job of Romeo to wrestle that away for a 16-10 deficit. Then the Packers, with 8:30 left in the game, on a really funky play where it bounced off of Romeo Doubs and was caught by Jaden Reed on 4th down to take a 17-16 lead. But then with 3:50 left, the Broncos kicked a 52-yard field goal to take the lead 19-17. And then the Packers try to get a drive down there at the end. A.J. Dillon actually played well on that drive. Then we had a massive holding call that put us back to like a 3rd and 20. And Jordan Love just tried to play hero ball and just heaved it deep, and it was picked off when he should have just looked at A.J. Dillon, who was wide open, got like 11 to 12 yards, got into very long field goal range, and kick it there for the win. But just not very good there from the Packers. So take a look at the box score. This is actually Jordan's best completion percentage, I think, so far this year. 21 for 31 for 180 yards, 5.8 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, a passer rating of 90.8. So definitely better than he was against the Raiders, so I will give him credit for that. But we just couldn't do anything in the first half, and we'll get into that later. A.J. Dillon had 15 carries for 61 yards. Actually had a really good game as well on receiving for 2 for 34, so had 95 total yards for A.J. Dillon. Aaron Jones only had 11 touches, 8 for 35 yards rushing. Jordan Love 3 for 21 yards. Emmanuel Wilson 2 for 19 as well. Receiving, A.J. Dillon 2 for 34. Romeo Doubs 2 for 30 and a touchdown. Luke Musgrave 4 for 30. Left the game after a huge hit by Jackson of the Broncos. Christian Watson 3 for 27. Left the game with an injury on one of the last drive. Aaron Jones 3 for 22. Jaden Reed 3 for 21 and a touchdown. And Dontavian Wicks 1 for 17. He should have had a lot more targets in the game, but sadly did not. Defense, McDuffie had 10 total tackles. Carrington Valentine had 8 tackles. Quay Walker had 2 tackles for loss. Rasul Douglas had a tackle for loss. QB hits, one by Gary, one by Anagbare, and one by Preston Smith, who also had the only sack of the game for the Packers. No interceptions, no kick returns, no punt returns, really no wording. Carlson missed his first field goal of the year, but made the other one. And Dan Whelan actually is continuing to prove to be a really dang good punter. Had an average of 51.7 and 2 inside the 20 and a 59-yard long, so pretty good there. But it's just, it was awful. This game was awful, especially coming off of the bye. Coming off of the bye, and we put 0 yard points in the first half against the worst defense in the NFL. I'm sorry, that falls on coaching. You do not come out looking that flat after a bye week and not have something wrong with the coaching staff. And I know people will say, oh, Jordan Love threw an interception and everything, but to me, this game rests on Matt LaFleur because the way he was calling this game is unacceptable. Unacceptable. He looked scared. He looked conservative. And he was outcoached by Sean Payton. That's how bad it was. We had receivers running into the same spot on plays. That is a coaching issue. Granted, there's other issues as well. The O-line could not really run block all that well, even though A.J. Dillon did the best he could. Aaron Jones did the best he could as well. Jordan Love has some issues. He did not play all that well in the first half, and he, again, made a very, very stupid decision at the end of the game that cost us the game. And Joe Barry defense, again, had a lot of issues. They allowed Denver to go on long drives, but this game I don't think is on the defense at all. Even though that they gave up a good amount of rushing yards, they gave up some easy completions and stuff like typical Joe Barry defense. If your defense holds an offense to 19 points, and the same thing against the Raiders when they held them to 13 points, you should be able to score enough to win that game. And the offense has not been able to do that. And that's on execution. That is also on Jordan Love. That is on Jordan Love not executing. There's on the offensive line not executing. And that is mainly on the play calling. The way I'm seeing Matt LaFleur call this game for this young offense is very, very disturbing. That's all I'm going to say, because it is just, this team is one of the worst teams of football right now. Right now, we're scheduled at the number 7 overall pick. That's how bad we are. We haven't had a top 10 pick. Oh, gosh. I think it's 2005. It's 2006, I mean. After 2005, so we were 4-12. And this team could be that bad. Legitimately that bad. And especially when you take a look at our upcoming schedule. We're playing the Vikings, who I don't think we can beat right now. Even without Justin Jefferson for the Vikings. They were playing the Rams, who they were carve up our defense like nobody's business. Then we play the Steelers, who just fluke their way into victories, and their defense will run us apart. Then we play the Chargers offense, the Lions offense, the Chiefs offense, and then we play the Giants, who we hopefully can beat, but we can easily lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 in a row. That is how bad we have played so far this year. And I don't know how to fix this team, because everything is going wrong. The offense is playing bad. The O-line can't block for the run game. Jordan Love has made some really, really stupid decisions. Matt LaFleur is calling really, really terrible games. The defensive play calling is still very much suspect with Joe Barry, and we should not have brought him back. And it's just, I don't know what to do with them. And if this continues the way it has been these past couple weeks, we are in deep, deep trouble. And that could cost Matt LaFleur his job. It definitely should cost Joe Barry his job. And at the end of the year, we're going to start thinking, especially depending on where our draft pick is at, do we take a quarterback in the top 10? Because we don't know if Jordan Love is the guy. And we have the rest of the year to figure that out. This is evaluation, but you do not want to see a regression. And we have seen that this past couple weeks. And so, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in a very, very long time for me, I can confidently say the Packers are one of the 5 worst teams in the National Football League. I have not been able to say that since 2005. And so, we'll see how they do next week against the Vikings. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below what you guys think the Packers will be able to do, how they are, and subscribe to the channel to share my misery, please. And until then, I'll see you again very soon.